Life always has its own way to revert back to what you have done with it. Wise man calls it karma. Karma is the new religion of modern life. Since childhood, parents, teachers, and mentors instill in children who later imbibe the importance of good deeds in one's life knowingly and unknowingly. However, the best lessons are from life experiences. No matter what we do, no matter how we do, it will always find a way back to us. Don't ever forget your good deeds. You will be paid back. Your bad deeds, they will be paid right back. Ishin now realized it, but this realization was like a regret, where he could not stop something which was inevitable. He was at that stage of his life where self-realization comes to one, but one has no time to live any more with that realization. It was too late for him now. He would have always seen it coming. Power corrupted his thoughts, and it made him always stay within the whims and fancies that he could prevent even the inevitable. What is inevitable is always inevitable, and that's where your deeds are justified by your karma. The pale yellow lights, dimly illuminated, the lavishly decorated office room. Ishin was resting in his old-fashioned teak wood carved armchair in his office. He had his favorite Jack on Ice in one hand, and a costly Cuban cigar, half done, in another hand. All he could do is nothing but smile at the way he treated life, and the way he thought that he was invincible. Born to a poor truck driver family, Ishin always wished for a lifestyle that had a class. Today he had everything, and way beyond he dreamed for. Everything comes with a price to pay back. He compromised his ethics to reach the heights of success, never cared for the path he traveled to build his empire. He walked through the corpses of ethics and humans. The only thing that he always cared for was money and power, lots of power. He started as a small thug who soon stepped into a smuggling racket, and finally became the kingpin in drug trafficking and arms dealing. He wiped out all small-time drug peddlers to clear his way. Blades were replaced with guns, and there was no way to stop him now. His life slowed down when he fell for a beautiful Bengali housewife named Viba. Ishin fell madly in love with Viba at first sight. Though Viba never even glanced at him, Ishin never stopped. He tried with all the means to get Viba. When Viba denied to walk out from her family, he did something, and that gonna change his life soon. One fine evening, Ishin plotted the plan to wipe out the Viba's entire family. A small family with a loving husband and wife with 12-year-old son. Killing her husband was never a big game for Ishin, who was a mere government clerk. He torched down Viba's house. He dragged Viba out of her house, leaving her husband and son to be slain by the flames. Viba saw her house burning in front of her eyes, and her husband trapped in flames. The dying screams of her husband made Viba numb. She turned out to be a mere body with no desire for life left. Ishin kept laughing like a demon and dragged her with him. She never loved him, and running away from Ishin was not possible in this lifetime. Ishin was blinded by the power he kept drawing, and the money that kept flooding his safe. The only thing he never saw coming was his karma. A king can never run his empire without a bunch of ministers. Though Ishin didn't have a bunch of it, but just one, Vasu. Vasu was half the age of Ishin. In his teens, Vasu came inside of Ishin when he alone smuggled 20 kilograms of cocaine across the border along with 4 mags of 9mm pistols. Ishin didn't delay in recruiting Vasu in his business. Vasu was a quick, furious, and high-risk taker. A kind of person needed for building Ishin's empire. In no time, Vasu started expanding Ishin's business empire beyond expectations and become the most trustworthy person in Ishin's life. Ishin, on the other end, started relaxing back in his office when Vasu took the charge of deals and other affairs. The only thing that Ishin never knew about Vasu was that he was the son of a Bengali father who was murdered ruthlessly by Ishin, and his mother was still in a cage of Ishin, Viba. On that night, Vasu somehow escaped the fire in the house, but he saw Ishin taking Viba with him and laughing like a maniac at his burning house. Vasu vowed in the silent fervor to avenge the murder of his father and to bring back his mother. Ishin never realized what kept Vasu going on was the revenge. Vasu by now had taken total control of the business in his hands. Any and everything was always done with the consent of Vasu. Finally, the D-Day came when Vasu had already taken over the whole empire with its reins in his hands, and in just one night, he wiped out all the alibis of Ishin, either by turning them into his allies or by killing them. The only person now left was Ishin. Ishin got a call from one of his alibis before dying that Vasu was on his way to the office for him and for what. He smiled and sat on his chair pouring himself large Jack over ice and lit his cigar. Pulling out his Walther, he kept it on the table with safety lock off. Ishin's vision was flooded with memories of his life, the journey from small-time street thug to a kingpin of dark world. The office door swung open and Vasu stormed in, his eyes bloodshot and beads of sweat over his forehead, his shirt drenched in the blood of all those whom he had killed on his way. Ishin smiled at him and Vasu stood holding his Colt pointed at Ishin. Revenge is the purest emotion, and that's why you are a step ahead of me, but I will never let you win by killing me. Ishin spoke, taking a long drag of his cigar before dropping it down on the Persian carpet. Ishin picked his Walther in one swipe and pointed to Vasu. He called out for Viba loudly. Viba stepped in from the back door with 2 guards pointing the gun at Viba's torso. I wish I could turn back the clock and bring the wheels of time to a stop. Till the moments when I killed your father, but it's too late now. Ishin spoke, taking the last sip of his Jack and let the glass drop on the carpet. Vasu's grip tightened over his Colt, and he pulled the hammer back to take the shot. 2 shots got fired at the same time. Vasu's shot missed the target, but Ishin's shot didn't, as it was very close to the barrel of his Walther. Both the shots were aimed at the same target. Smoke from Walther rose slowly, and Ishin's corpse lay on the floor with a messy frontal lobe of his brain peeping out from his right temple, spiting blood furiously at the change of events.